Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about Jupiter sextile or trine Saturn in the natal chart. Now, first off, as some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They were a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy, so what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is if you have Jupiter sextile or trine Saturn in the natal chart, you may easily find enthusiasm and exuberance, which is Jupiter, for career-related matters, which is Saturn. Now, if Saturn, say, is in Aquarius as an example, career-related matters may be tied in with humanitarianism, altruistic endeavors, and maybe doing something with astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, innovation, aviation, meteorology as some examples. And another thing too, there may be, if you have Jupiter sextile or trine Saturn in the natal chart, there may be easily able to concentrate, which is Saturn, with little distractions or diversions on expanding one's horizons, which is Jupiter. Now, if Jupiter is in Taurus, as an example, expanding horizons may be done, with a lot of, persistence, patience, perseverance. It may be doing something Taurus related, whether it be geology, carpet laying, architecture, agriculture, archaeology, gardening, cultivation, banking, finance, music, or art as some examples. And also, too, you may readily be able to balance activities that are associated with in-laws and foreigners, which is Jupiter, and the father, which is Saturn. Now, the thing about this is, now let's say if Saturn is in Capricorn as an example, the father may actually be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be, somebody that's very serious, disciplined, structured, consistent, responsible, ambitious, but at the same time can be very negative, pessimistic, even melancholy. Now, also, too, these aspects can be auspicious for higher education, which is Jupiter, to benefit your livelihood, which is Saturn. So these aspects can be positive in terms of higher education, and using that to be successful, in whatever livelihood, career endeavor you choose. If let's say, for example, if Saturn is in Gemini, your livelihood may be tied in something related with communications, whether it's data or satellite communications, and reporting, journalism, writing, or even doing something with manual dexterity, such as auto or refrigeration mechanics, as some examples. Now, another thing, too, is that you may be, optimistic, which is Jupiter, as far as in matters connected with responsibilities, which is Saturn, without being over-optimistic or overconfident in those matters. Now, if Saturn is in Sagittarius, as an example, responsibilities may be tied in publishing, advertising, maybe even expanding horizons, maybe responsibility for you. You may see it that way. It could be something sports-related or something connected with the outdoors or camping. It may be something that involves importing or exporting, higher education, as some examples. Now, another thing, too, it could also be, if you have one of these aspects in your natal chart, they could be favorable, for happiness and expressing humor, which is Jupiter, with the father, older people, and authority figures, which is Saturn. Now, if Jupiter is in Taurus, as an example, humor may be a little bit bawdy, be very basic. Jupiter in Scorpio can be more caustic, sarcastic. Jupiter in Capricorn, may be more conventional, but it may be a lot of, political humor. That, one, may use Gemini, could be very witty, as some examples. Now, the thing too is business-related matters, which is Saturn, can be more fortunate and fortuitous, which is Jupiter. Just in general, more luck and find that luck and fortune in those as far as business related matters or career related matters, anything that involves work. Say if you have Saturn in Libra as an example, business, career, work-related matters may be tied in with art or music, or doing something with arbitration, negotiation, mediation. It could be doing something with interior design or modeling or fashion as some examples. And the thing about these aspects as well is that if you have any chronic issues, which is Saturn, it's less likely for that to have an adverse effect on Jupiter-related matters, including sports, than most people. Now, I mean, say if Jupiter is in Gemini, there may be an interest in sports that require quick reaction, such as badminton, racquetball, table tennis, as some examples. Capricorn, Jupiter in Capricorn, maybe mountain climbing. Jupiter and Aries may have be enamored with the combat sports, such as football. I'm sorry, let me take that back. Well, that's a volatile sport. There could be an interest in that as well. But combat sports, including judo, karate, boxing, wrestling, as some examples. The thing about these aspects as well is that Jupiter-related people can be advantageous in matters in your life as far as structure goes, which is Saturn. Jupiter-related people, including in-laws, foreigners, people involved in sports or the law. It may be those that are publishers or advertisers that well. Saturn is in the zodiac sign Cancer or in the 4th house as an example. There may be a strong desire to have that structure and discipline in one's home life, one's home and family life, planning for that latter part of life as well. Another thing too is that you also may readily be able to balance a humorous, which is Jupiter, and a serious side, which is Saturn. Being an understanding, knowing, when to be jocular and jovial, the time for that when it's appropriate, and times when you need to, concentrate on more serious issues, which is Saturn. Now, Saturn is in Leo as an example, or the 5th house. There may be more serious attention put on children, romantic partners, fun, enjoyment, recreational things that involve, creativity. Also, too, these aspects can be positive, for planning, which is Saturn, foreign travel, which is Jupiter, or anything Jupiter related. Now, if Jupiter is in Pisces, as an example, there may be a lot of, long distance journeys, by boat or by sea. Jupiter in Aquarius can be journeys to distance journeys to unusual places are done very spontaneously and unpredictably. Now, also, too, these aspects can be auspicious for prosperity, which is Jupiter. When following regulations and working within parameters, which is Saturn. And if Saturn is in Capricorn, the 10th house, that naturally could be at one's, place of business, the livelihood, one's career, in general. If Saturn is in, Sagittarius or the 9th house, it could be matters involving publishing or advertising. And also, too, you may be somebody that expresses certain generosity, but not to the point of being, extravagant, which is Jupiter. Now, say if, for example, if Jupiter is in Scorpio, you may show, that generosity in matters of support and shared resources. Generosity may be expressed with more passion and emotional intensity. As some examples, the thing is Jupiter in Taurus, may emphasize more generosity in terms of monetary matters, as an example. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.